Good Thursday morning. Man, I tell you what, I even had to question myself, say that. Hey, get up here. Hey, welcome to Ice Age TV, the Internal Combustion Engine Age YouTube channel. Welcome every morning here. And like I said just a second ago, it's like, is today Thursday? Really? It's already Thursday? I mean, wow. Time, but just seems to pass so quickly as we pursue our adventures in our lifetime. And we understand what is real or whatever. Are we living in times? Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, appreciate you tuning in my channel today and watching my video and content. And wow, what a day. What a day yesterday. What a day. Come on, Scout, let's go. I mean, just beyond believable. Yesterday morning, if I was telling you I'd have a Jeep sitting in my garage this morning, I'd be like, nah. Like, no, that deal didn't go down. It's like, really? Nope. So, yeah, are we living in the real times? I mean, sincerely. I mean, wow. So, truck's now in the path. The lightning's out in the garage, but what's in the garage is the new Jeep Gladiator. Mojave edition. It is cool. I just love the color interior. I just love how this thing has a light color interior. That is really just really nice. If anybody has the cars, you road in the car is just so dark. It's like you're living in a closet. I mean, sincerely, who hasn't had that feeling? You know, I got my freaking glasses here. I don't want to turn off the video because then the video has got to go a whole different way to upload it. So sorry for the delay for a second, but my glasses are all dirty. That helped out a little bit. Is that all right there too? All right. So anyways, yeah, the Jeep, really cool. I'm just so excited about the Jeep product. Really am. I'm a Jeep guy again. Even though I'm just the type of guy, the way it is, or do I? You know what I mean? Do I really tell you the way it is? Because you're kind of like, you went to the Ford product, but yet now, these Mopars, I mean, truly converting over to the Mopar era again. I've had so much success with the Dodge product line. This is no lie. I had so much success with Dodge and Mopar and Jeep in my life, and I had really bad experiences with the Ford failures. I mean, I'm not lying to you. When I had a bunch of Ford vehicles so many years ago, I had some dire straight times in my life, and I've always thought, wow, my Dodge stuff has always been charm. See, there's a Jeep thing. How about, right? All right, I'll just get up here and let's get the day going. I mean, if you look at my theme of the office, the Duster, the Jeep right there. I've got the Mopar stuff back there. I mean, I was so much more the Mopar person from my true beginnings of the love of the vehicles. And what's so incredible? Is that a 71 or a 72? I think my car is a 72 because it has a square headlight, fog lights. I can't remember. Just too much information, right? Yeah, what's the real story? Yeah, so you're hearing real. Yeah, so I got to think about myself this morning. What are we talking about today? I'm not lying to you. Trying to come up with content to hopefully entertain people. It's not easy. It really is not easy. I have nobody supporting me on my channel. And you probably can tell that. But yeah, this guy's videography, yeah. I get all that. And gotta get my heater on here. And so, at the dealer, I gotta show you this real quick. At the dealership yesterday, there was one of the guys that was all about the steer horns. On that, I thought I turned the video off for a second. These buttons. Yeah, I left the steer horns on that Maverick, and the finance guy wants them, but the owner of the dealership wants them. But then the sales guy wants them. But then the used car guy wants them. So it was kind of entertaining yesterday. And those steer horns were really showing the age because they were out in the environment. I mean, those things, I put them in the front of my truck. But if you drive down the road brine, in the winter months. We really didn't have that much bad a winter, so they weren't that bad of shape. But I could definitely tell that the steer horns were really a lot more fragile. You can just tell they're kind of deteriorating. So yeah. So anyways, the theories, right? The conversation this morning is real. I just think to myself, and even for me, I don't think I've made a conversation about real, but I could be wrong. But since I can't remember or not, it's going to be a different conversation anyways, right? Is that really the story? So I just see myself, it's always about trying to keep the car content with a theme of the channel that kind of then goes to the state of the times. That's what I tell people when you watch my video. What I try to do with my YouTube channel, Morning Conversation, is use the car industry, the passion for somebody that just love the cars and trucks and motorcycles and the ICE vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles, and then try to use that in comparison to kind of where the state of the times are without getting too radical and getting people all riled up. And then the YouTube moderators think that I'm intentionally trying to persuade people to think a certain way or get misinformation. That's not my goal. I mean, it really is not. I'm just not going to start the hate channel. That isn't who I am. It really isn't. I'm not that type of person. I'm just not that. That's not who I am. I do not get a pleasure in life of seeing others in sorrow or being physically abused. It's not my calling in life. I like to talk to people and interact with people, and that's why I have a YouTube channel. So, oh wow, the YouTube channel TV. Oh, there it is. So I think I saw real. And boy, that's just so broad and so, it's just so broad a subject. But I think most of us here can kind of be in reality in the real time here. It just seems like for anybody here watching my channel, can we all just say to each other, 2020 and to this point has really been a different world? I mean, really. You go back 3 years ago and the start of the pandemic, and for what we have witnessed in our lifetime, I would think that most people would be like, yes, this really is just the weirdest times of so many things that have gone on around us. And what's incredible is how the car industry is so caught up in it and here's the thing. For me, the real, and just as far as the governing bodies, I think that the January 6th was the real story of how many people did not really believe that Donald Trump lost the election. And that there were so many people that didn't really believe that Joe Biden won the presidency. And so in that aspect, we look at ourselves and we say to ourselves, would you ever really believe in 2020, the beginning of 2020, by 2021 and 2022, you would be waiting in line to buy something for a car wise, and you would have to borderline just be so lucky to even get the car you want, and you would really have to pay a lot of money for it. I mean, you go back to 2000, pre-pandemic, 2019. I talk about this all the time on my channel. I just think it's just incredible on how the good old days of the manufacturers discounting the vehicles and the dealerships just hoping and praying you come to a dealership to buy a car, that changed. And for you as an individual, I'm sure anybody that's not the big motorhead like I am, that's been away from a car dealership for 3-4 years, and they came in 2021 or even 2022, they probably were like, I really can't believe this is real. I'm at a car dealership. They're looking at me and telling me that's the price. And then I call another dealership, and it's the same story. And there's no negotiation. And be so lucky to get this vehicle, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure somebody's not really been in the car market and isn't really a motorhead that follows the news. I'm sure they were just like stumped. Like, this is unreal. And that's the thing that made me think of the real conversations was, how do we decipher at this point what is real and what is unreal? And that's incredibly challenging. And that's what drew the January 6th participants for Donald Trump, was they truly didn't feel that was a real election. And then the same thing for us right now. As car motorheads, ice heads, we are having a hard time believing that really the EV vehicle is going to resolve Mother Nature's challenges. The challenges of mankind on this earth and what we do to Mother Earth, but what it does to us. I mean, does anybody talk about that? But then that turns into the climate change conversation. I mean, that's where it goes. Well, California is having massive rain, mudslides, snows. The ski resorts are extending their skiing season. The farmers are now trying to capture the water so it drains into the basin for the future of the water. And most people would say, yeah, it's because of climate change. Yet California has always had, I lived in California. California has had so many droughts, and it's just a cycle thing. It just seems like it cycles. But it'll go back to that people will get the agenda that, hey, it's really all about the climate change. And yeah, okay. So for us, ICE people, we're involved in this heavy language of what is real versus is not real. And that's where I think so many of us get disgruntled and get separation from wanting to listen to the green agenda movement, is because I think so many people just say, but it's just not real. It's not real. It's not real time. And that's the thing that we're witnessing more than ever. It's always about the future of what's going to be real in the future. But yet, if we look at the weather forecast, I think the weather forecast now is more accurate than the banking system. I mean, think that through. Yeah, who could have predicted this and that, right? Yeah, the Silicon Valley Bank, the Bank of Republic, the Signature Bank, the list goes on and on and on. But back to the cars, without getting all into that, jargon, the technology that's rapidly expanding because of the Inflation Reduction Act that now Joe Manchin of West Virginia is raising his hand. He was the key opponent for a short time for letting that bill come finalized last, I guess, December or whatever the exact date was, November. And he kind of held up the whole Inflation Reduction Act. And it's really, actually a really good article you can read in the Wall Street Journal that for Joe Manchin, he actually has an opinion that he's calling out Joe Biden on this Inflation Reduction Act, that Mr. Biden is not following what was the game plan on those monies. The monies were to be used to pay down massive debt, and then percentage of it was, of course, to go to the green agenda. And I've talked about it, how all these car manufacturers are going to get huge entitlements and incentives to build car manufacturing and battery manufacturing in this country, and for charging stations to be built. So all that Inflation Reduction Act, those monies by the billions are going to be given to the big business to help them set up shop here more than ever. But at the same time, Joe Manchin is calling out Joe Biden, saying, but that wasn't really the plan, meaning that the monies, they're passing new bills as time progresses by having that big jackpot of money. And Joe Manchin is saying, hey, Mr. Biden, you are changing the game plan. And you're now chasing more of the ESG, the environmental, social, and the governance. And so if anybody out there doesn't know what that is, that's how. So there's speculation that Silicon Valley Bank failed because it put a lot of its monies, besides bonds and treasuries and other things, but the whole market portfolio was ESG, environmental, social, and governance. And that's a huge debate right now of how you pick your stocks and how stock traders pick your stocks based on that formula of what you think is going to benefit your portfolio. And we're seeing that portfolio hasn't been the best investment. And that's why, and I'm no expert on this by any means. Somebody else could be much more in depth in this. And hey, I have no problem somebody writing a comment saying, hey, well, you kind of had some things right there, but you're wrong on that. That's fine. I am not the stock trader. I'm not the stock market analyst. I'm not your Shark Tank guy, the big, I can't think of the guy's name. He's on Fox Business News this morning. Bald guy, seems to be a very smart guy, and he's upset. I mean, that guy's really not happy that we're seeing all these bank failures and how everybody's just being given all this borderline free money. So for Joe Manchin, it's interesting. You know, in one aspect, he's calling out Joe Biden, but in another aspect, he is supporting a new company called Form. You can look it up, Form. And this new company has, from some young gun guys, one guy's from Tesla, there's like 3 or 4 guru guys that are pretty smart individuals. Apparently, this young kid came up with this idea: the rust from iron can be converted into energy by electrolysis. So basically, when metal rusts, they've designed this energy, packed battery that utilizes rust that comes off the iron and degrades iron, but then they use electricity to make the rust turn back into iron. And so apparently it creates energy, and they're building battery packs, and it's a brand new company that has received close to $900 million of investments. Bill Gates has invested in it, and apparently Joe Manchin is going to give a $290 million West Virginia fund to entice them to come to West Virginia to set up their brand new battery plant. And the whole concept of this is it's the renewable energy, where they're going to have these big battery packs that, like commercial business, I'm not so sure about the retail side, but the commercial side, where you have 100 hours worth of usable energy, so they can manage the grid better. I mean, this is going on. This isn't just, these aren't the only guys in town doing this stuff, but that's the big thing, that their technology of utilizing iron and rust is a brand new concept of building batteries. Does that, go to the car side? I don't think that goes to the car side. But the kid apparently came up with this idea from going to, I guess, like the football games when he's a kid, and you have these little, hand warmers. And the hand warmers apparently have this type of, I guess, technology in them to a degree or something. It's an interesting article. You look it up. Gets it a little more in depth of my science knowledge, which I'm not a scientist, and I never was the greatest kid in science, all that stuff. So just sharing information that I read, but it's very intriguing. But at the same time, here you go with Joe Manchin. On one end, he was the Inflation Reduction Act bill, against it, but he finally did, you could say, cave and gave in to finally get that bill passed. But a lot of people are laughing at him and saying, "Hey, Joe, you honestly think that your party was going to follow the guidelines and rules to that?" Right. So for us as individuals in the Ice Age car challenges, when we look around, right now, and I talk about it just about every day, the main focus over and over every day in the automotive world is electric vehicles. And I mean, more than ever beyond. It's just like the brainwashing. To me, it's just as if we are in it's like they can't break away. We just can't break away from doing this. It's like the tunnel vision more than ever our lifetime. This is where we're going right now. People just don't want to look but just one way. And it's all now about the green agenda, the environmental and the social and the governance, the ESG investing. And for us, Ice Age people like me, you just start to think to yourself, like, is this real? Is it really going to happen? Is it really going to play out that the ICE vehicle is terminated by 2035? I mean, really? Is it really going to play out? Or is it going to be the last second they figure out new technology with these fuels, like these synthetic fuels? I mean, the variables to me, in today's society, I've talked about this years ago. You think about the Industrial Revolution. You think about the technology, advancement technology in the Industrial Revolution. You were talking 20, 30, 40, 50 years of advancements. You now look at where we are today in technology. You just look at 10 years ago of the technology to where we are today. And so we're at a rapid pace, even though there's a lot of talk about how where's the curve of where the technology has expedited its supersonic technology in our lifetime. In fact, there's like an interview from Bryant Gumbel from like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, questioning the computers. If the computers would continue to thrive and become, the dominant thing in the marketplace. And Bryant Gumbel, I'm pretty sure that was the news guy, was questioning these executives that, really, you think the computer's really going to take off and it's really going to be something? I think that was the gist of the conversation. People were wrong on that. And because, Bryant Gumbel was probably like, really? Is this really going to happen? And that's the thing. And so for us, I look at the Dodge Demon and I think to myself, really? The Dodge Demon 170. I just think to myself, wow, what really does that individual that paid $200,000, $300,000 over on a car that'll never track the car? That's going to be a car that's parked in a garage that will be for the what if one day. I mean, and you just think to yourself, how real, what's really going on besides the claim that you got the baddest ass Mopar ever built in modern times, but is that really factual? Well, will Dodge or Stellantis down the road reverse course and all of a sudden they decide to go on gas hybrid? It sounds crazy, but all of a sudden does Dodge realize they're deader than deader in the water in business, that the people really don't want these electric vehicles and they just can't get the volume up and they have to retract and reevaluate and have to rethink their marketing and business plan isn't working to be self-sufficient. And that's a whole other thing that's, to me, is aggravating. The electric vehicle segment's not self-sufficient. It's requiring the ICE monies and the taxpayers' monies at huge sums to bring this so-called real, better transportation mode to really help the world be a better place. But do we believe it? And then we look to China, that's building coal plants still. You look to other third world countries, and you just think, wow. It just, it gets too in depth as far as just really trying to come to closure of what makes sense. And that's what I'm trying to say, is I think more than ever, we are questioning ourselves, what's really the real deal? And that's when we come to kind of think closure that it's not real. It just isn't. It's just. And now, what was the saying years ago? Fake news. Wasn't Donald Trump the guy that started the whole movement of fake news? Yeah, get this. The state of Maryland that has the election oversight administration, the key lady has resigned due to James O'Keefe. I never have followed this guy, James O'Keefe, that has the OMG channel. I guess it's the O'Keefe Media Group. I don't even really know who this guy is. I tell you all the time, I don't watch the news. I just really don't. I get my information through going through the internet and reading articles and trying to go to what I feel are, good resources for the most part. But I don't sit down and watch the news. I don't do it. So this guy, James O'Keefe, to me, this is a brand new guy that's a pretty bold guy. He's got a whole video on his OMG, I guess, platform. And he has called out the state of Maryland's Democratic Party for not really having real contributors to the, for the future candidate that needs monies. The DNC party that needs money to run their platform to try to get their politicians elected at state levels and federal levels. And so he has uncovered a database that apparently is public record from the way it sounds, that's showing that how individuals contributed, $200,000, $300,000, $3 million in contributions. And so he is actually, and he sees the same people's name being used over and over again, $1,000, weekly contribution to the DNC. So he went and hit the streets of Potomac, Maryland, Bethesda, Maryland. He actually went out in the streets and he started knocking on doors and asking these people, If you made a $230,000 Democratic Party contribution last year for the Democratic Party, and these people open the door, and he kind of has to overcome the initial resistance. But then once he can show on his phone their name and everything that's public information, these people are kind of like, whoa. And then the husband and wife are kind of, and he usually shades their face, but the conversations, you can tell they're intimidated, but they're like, no. Then the wife's like, I think we donated $1,000 last year, and they'll say like, well, that shows you donate $231,000. Wow. So this guy James O'Keefe has uncovered huge electoral law violations of contributions. Because there's laws that you can only contribute so much money. Remember Barack Obama ran on the ticket of, I'm going to make sure that this, the oversight of where money's come from to get people elected has to be really more transparent, and it needs to borderline be shut down because people are just bought to get and be put in office. Wow. Yeah, right. So, but this lady, Linda something, she abruptly resigned yesterday. When she was questioned, what is this all about? Wow. Now, how far will this go? I mean, I think that most people will be like, yeah, that'll be kicked to the curb. I mean, who's going to do what? Where does it go from here? I mean, I know most people are like, yeah, okay, wow. Hey, James O'Keefe, great story and great angle. Does it stop the angle on how this corruption and once again, anybody watch my channel, if you think that I'm an idiot to think that the Republican Party doesn't do devious things, of course they do. These are politicians. So for me, anybody watching my channel, if you think I'm going to be like, oh, only the Democratic Party does these devious things, or Republican Party is just beautifully clean, perfect, are you kidding me? No, they're not. These are politicians that are paid off. Why do you have thousands of lobbyists in D.C. today that are persuading politicians to get things done in their agendas to enrich themselves, and they enrich the politicians? I mean, this is nothing new. Yeah, so wow. And that's my point. The James O'Keefe is questioning: is this really real information that these individuals, these just regular old household people, are making these huge donations to the Democratic Party to help them run their platform? Is this really true? And he's uncovered how no, it's not really true. And that's where it starts to get deep. For us as individuals, we just feel like more than ever, there's so many things that aren't really being told to us, but things are being persuaded to be done at the speed of light. Why is the speed of light of our country right now so heck bent on a 2035 zero net emissions? What is it? Why is 2035? I mean, has anybody really questioned this? And that's the thing you have to wonder is where do people start to question the authorities of why they think that this 2035 is the magical number, then it goes to 2040, 2050 of the net zero emissions in this world, because otherwise it's dire straits, like the world's going to blow up or something. I mean, is this the running, it's like the time clock. And to me, it seems more, it's about, you have these unique individuals in power at this time more than ever that feel like they're the people who get this stuff accomplished, and it's on their time watch, so they're going to push the heck out of it because they want to be able to raise their hand and go, hey, I'm the one who pushed all this. But yeah, when it's a massive failure, where will those people be besides hiding under a desk or hiding in a closet? And that's the challenge. It's just like this lady in the Democratic administration, the state of Maryland's Democratic Party, that's supposed, or I should say the state of Maryland is supposed to oversee the electoral contributions, I guess you could say, election contributions. She's hiding because there's my assistant with a banana in her mouth. What are you drinking?
Water and tea.
Water and tea. Okay, there you are. So wow. So it's already been close to like 30 minutes. So yeah, for me, I can talk a lot. And wow, for me, really, you bought another vehicle? Is this guy real? Yeah, I hear you. I mean, and for me, yesterday, if you watch my video, I mean, that Mojave is so nice. I mean, I'm eating my words. Do you like the Mojave?
I love it.
Yeah, the kid here, if you watch my videos, and you go back to the Saturday and the downpour and rain, and we're driving around the Jeeps, and we're trying to come to closure, what makes sense, and I just about walked away. None of it makes sense. Even though, hey, what's really cool is I bought my brand new Jeep Gladiator, and this is actually now the Easter Jeep event out there in Utah. What's it, Moab, or how do you ever pronounce it? In Utah, where they have 7 Jeeps out there for the week, the Easter week. It's the Easter Jeep week, and it's pretty cool. They have some mocked up Jeeps and all. They got a really cool Gladiator. It looks really neat. They've got the Grand Wagoneer Overland. That looks pretty cool. One of my good friends at the car meet, I was so surprised. If you follow my channel, this guy bought a brand new Grand Wagoneer last year. Beautiful vehicle. I mean, I never had seen it in person until he brought it to car meet, and I was just over. I think we did a car review on it. I can't remember. And yeah, we did. And just beautiful. So it so got me. That guy got me, which now I'm now a Jeep guy again, because I got so excited about the Jeep Grand Wagoneer that I went and looked at one eventually, which turned into Jeep Grand Cherokee L for the wife. And so anyways, so he just really loved that vehicle, and I was just really impressed. Well, this past Sunday, he tells me he sold it. He's sick of the gas mileage. He said it's 12 miles a gallon. He bought a Kia?
Telluride.
Yeah, he bought a Kia Telluride. Right. So, I mean, but I was like, wow. But he was like, man, the gas just got old. I mean, I get that. That's why these Ram TRXs, the real deal, I think, back to reality, the real deal. I think people go out and buy these Ram TRX. I think they're cool. They're badass. But I think after a while, the real deal starts to set in where you're like, another day of $100 gas bill, another day of $100 gas bill. Until you do that, you just don't get it. You really don't understand. Now, sure, there's going to be a lot of these guys that buy these trucks. They're not going to drive them every day. They're going to sit in their garage most of the time. But there's definitely going to be a niche that drive them to work on them. And I just think at some point, somebody will be like, you know what? I just spent $1,000 in fuel this month. And if I drove another vehicle, I'd spend like $400 or $600. There's $600. That's what I think. There's $600 extra money I could be doing something else with. And really, I said, really, why am I dumping all this money in the fuel? Even though the oil companies, in New York, California, they're all being attacked, that they really can't make any big profits. Yeah, Governor Newsom is telling everybody that you really can't. There we go. It's got the noise going. So he's telling the oil companies that you have a limit of how much your profits can be, I guess. Wow. I mean, does anybody understand really what's going on with the banking infrastructure right now? Do people realize that people are just draining the bank accounts out, and the banks are getting so much stricter? Here's a story for you. So there's a person I know of that looked into doing a mortgage, taking equity out of their home in the mortgage. So the only way the deal will go down is the person has to get rid of so much debt. So this is no lie. I'm not embellishing here. Where the banks need cash big time right now. The banks are really starting to see a change of direction of where people are putting their money. And so the latest I've heard is if you want to get a refinance your mortgage or home, the conditions could be, let's just say you have a $500,000 home and you owe $200,000 on it, and you've got, let's just say, $200,000 out in like debts between cars and RV or boat or whatever it may be. So the conditions of the approval loan are you're going to get the $300,000, but you have to take a portion of that money and you have to pay off your car loan, your motorcycle loans, or your RV loan, or your boat loan, or whatever it may be. You have to pay those off. That's the conditions. Then you get the remaining money. Why? Well, it just helps put cash back into these other financial institutions that are holding these notes against all these assets, and there's their cash flow. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, really? Even for me, I think to myself, really? Is that really what's getting ready to happen? Is that really happening? I mean, are we really getting ready to see the banking infrastructure totally just obliterate? You're hearing now that the whole bailout and these SVB and the Signature and Republic Bank, all these other banks, that the conditions are that the banks are going to have to start paying big fees to pay back all this money that was created out of thin air to save these banks, to keep them, financially solvent. So for the consumers, you're going to just be paying for that ESG. But once again, people won't really talk about that, the ESG, environmental social governance, markets, or a lot of people speculate that those banks base a lot of their markets on that, which it kind of makes sense. It's the green agenda, it's the governing bodies, policies, it's the social, environment we're in. But boy, oh boy, doesn't it seem like all that stuff, is that stuff really real? I mean, wow. All right, I'm going to leave it at that and call it a time. And I'm going to go drive a Jeep Gladiator today. I'm going to go ride around that thing, start kind of breaking it in. I'm going to work out of it. That's exciting, right? I mean, I'm excited. I really am excited about my Jeep. I'm just really, wow. So anyways, hey everybody, maybe we'll make some videos on. I don't know. It's kind of a little more difficult being the one-man show, run the business, and doing a lot of other things at the same time. But anyways, thanks for watching my channel. And I've got company in here. I've got to get to work. Got to get things going. The morning's passing. And once again, thanks for support and nice comments. And stay safe, stay tuned, and God bless.